And welcome back. Well, yesterday was the third mutual monthly meeting, their June meeting. It ran, about 3 hours and 14 minutes. We have the president of the third mutual board, Mike Straziuso. Nice to see you today.
Thank you.
I'm getting myself all situated here. And pretty long meeting yesterday. There were certain parts that lasted kind of long, some of the things that were being talked about. And one of them is on your list here, and we're going to go over that, the barbecues situation. So tell me a little bit about that, and welcome, by the way.
Thank you. Barbecues. We've had barbecues that have started fires in not in buildings, but on the outside of buildings. The Orange County Fire Authority rule is barbecues must be 10 feet away from structures. And by the way, balconies are part of the structure.
Right, exactly.
So, barbecues on balconies is an issue that needs to be corrected.
Yeah, that's
People
true.
want to take it in the yard, God bless you. You raise the issue of smoke. Smoke, yeah, that's part of barbecuing. But barbecues within 10 feet of the structure violates Orange County Fire Authority regulations.
Okay. So you said yesterday in the meeting there's been some problems caused by that.
Well, most recently, I was called to the risk manager's office, and he showed me pictures of a barbecue on a balcony, and it had a tank. And it came uncoupled.
Oh, gee.
And flames shot up to the unit above, okay, or the balcony above. Please, we don't want to burn down the city.
Right.
And I know people have been barbecuing for years, and it's always safe, but it's that minority. Here's another facet to it. We live in a 3-story building. 3-story buildings have trash chutes. Could you believe that people have thrown coals down?
No, that is really surprising. That is...
that they thought, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure they thought they were out. Yeah.
Out, and they, the flames came out of the trash bin and set off the sprinklers, and the fire trucks came, and...
Yeah, and you know what? You never know. I had that happen to me. I used charcoal, and quite a long time ago, it was the next day, and I was going to throw it out, and it was a small charcoal pan type thing, barbecue, and I actually was able to hold it with my hands, and I threw it into the garden waste bin. And the next day, it was during the summer, and so my wife was home, and all of a sudden it smelled like a brush fire, which we get up there in the foothills, and that's what it was. And it looked cool, and it felt cool to the touch, but nowadays, whenever I use charcoal, I will let it sit covered tightly, you cover all the vents, in my barbecue for 2 days. 2 days before I dispose of it.
Do you hear that, folks?
Yeah. So as experienced I am, I made that mistake a few years ago, unfortunately. You don't want charcoal on a balcony anyway. That's for sure.
Please.
Yeah. If you want to grill outside, in fact, I wrote an article about this a while back. If you like to do that, there's some nice electric grills that you can take outside and plug them in, and you may not get the full effect, but you're outside grilling up and it's safe. So go with that.
Definitely a safety issue.
Yeah.
And you're putting the whole community at risk.
Right, exactly.
Okay. Street repairs. Unfortunately, there's people in our community who love to blog, not blog, it's email trains. Email train with 40, 50, 60 email addresses. And they're blaming our community for constant street repairs. Our community, except for the drain,
water district.
Water district,
Right.
thank you, has been laying pipe, yes, but Moulton and El Toro, that's primarily the Southern California Edison.
Exactly.
Southern California Edison has utility vaults underground, and those utility vaults were deemed to be too shallow, so they've lowered them, and it's taken them months to do it.
Yeah, takes a long time.
That El Toro, the Moulton corridor, when they lowered them, they didn't compact the earth sufficiently, and then laid cement sidewalks, and the cement sidewalks.
Oh, gee. So after all that work, they gotta
So
go
they're
back.
tearing up the sidewalks and compacting more efficiently, and they will relay the concrete. We also had a resolution to deal with electric vehicles. Electric vehicles are being purchased, and electric vehicles are being plugged in to public utilities. If you have your own garage and you plug it in there, it's on your tab. But to plug it into the plugs typically that would be used for golf carts, then the community is paying for it.
Right.
Okay?
And this is an upcoming issue. It's only going to get bigger as more and more people are going to get alternative vehicles of some sort.
At some point. So we have a rule now where we're correcting that, and you must get your own utility to plug into electric vehicles. It's that simple.
Okay.
You're on a free ride, but starting next month, you have a responsibility to gain your own metered plug-in.
Okay.
Okay. We amended the bylaws yesterday, and primarily to bring them into line with the revised numbering of the Davis-Sterling Act. And there were about 10 or 12 places where the reference was to the 1300 series, and now the Davis-Sterling Act for homeowner associations is starting at 4,000. So we've gone through, our attorney has gone through and renumbered them.
Okay.
Another change that was made was in line with members who are called to issues, disciplinary issues for violations. Disciplinary sounds high schoolish, but it's violating regulations in the community, have no right to bring their attorney. Attorneys are not members. And it was a court decision recently that reinforced that counsel at hearings, You can request it, and if approved, you may bring them, but out of the normal course of procedure, no attorneys at hearings. Inspectors of election, we had a corporate members meeting, and the subject was a single subject, a recall of 2 GRF directors, the president and the treasurer, Larry Souza and Heather Gerson. At the meeting, there were 6 attorneys. Hello, 6 attorneys. And the attorneys had differing opinions on the procedure. And basically, the opinion of the GRF attorneys and the United attorney was that the majority of the corporate members, called the 27 directors, decided whether the recall, the results of the recall. Third Mutual's attorney had a different opinion, and his documentation on his opinion was presented to the attorneys, and his opinion was based on the bylaws, and the bylaws state there are 3 corporate members. They are the mutuals. They are Third Mutual, United, and Mutual 50. And the majority of 2 of the 3 decide the results. The majority on Third Mutual voted against the recall. The majority on Mutual 50 voted against the recall, and United voted in favor of it. Therefore, our position, Third Mutual's position, was the recall failed. GRF, United position was the recall was successful because of the 27 weighted vote members. Okay. The inspectors of elections, who are 3 residents, were confronted with this situation and needed to make a decision. They recessed for an hour, heard presentations by all of the attorneys, and Mutual 50 sided with GRF after consulting with their board, or his board, where in fact Mutual 50 has minute standing under the corporate members' weighted vote. Their vote does not equal 1 of either Third or United. By going with the 3 corporate members, Mutual 50 has weight.
Right.
And they're in a dilemma whether they're willing to support the concept. Our inspectors of elections, faced with this dilemma, said, we are not prepared to give you a decision. We would like to either hire outside counsel or go to mediation. The conduct in that meeting was incredibly Bush League. A booing, yelling. It was a lynch mob. It was craziness. Anyway, GRF held a closed meeting and decided to release the services of the inspectors of election and hire an alternate inspector of election who does not have residence on their as employees. And I understand they have engaged Martin and Chapman.
Right.
Martin and Chapman is an accounting firm.
They count the votes here all the time.
Okay.
Yes.
And Martin and Chapman are now stuck with the duty of making a decision. And we are encouraging the mutuals, the 4 corporations, to go for declaratory relief and let a judge decide whether we are 3 corporate members or 27 corporate members. And we're at a standstill. We're appealing to the other 3 corporations. Third Mutual advocated in our meeting yesterday that we go for declaratory relief. No lawsuit. You simply put the facts before a judge, and the judge renders a decision.
Okay. All right, we just got about a minute left. I know you have a couple more things here if you want to maybe pick one of these that you'd really like to touch on here.
Okay. We have finally appropriated funds to start the local storm drain repairs. At Gate 5, we had the 2010 flood twice.
Right.
Once in January and once in December. And we have been negotiating with the other corporations involved to get their participation in the cost. And the one dragging their feet is Aliso Viejo Golf Course.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Okay.
They are known as Club Corp out of Texas. And Club Corp is going, we had nothing to do with it. Well, we have pictures of the runoff from that Aliso Viejo Golf Course. And we're asking them to participate in the cost of remediating that flow of water that comes under El Toro down through to the low end of that area, which is Third Mutual property. And we've had several of our 3-story buildings flooded, and 50 cars were damaged, but that's in process.
Yeah.
And the first initial funding of $370,000 to get it started was approved yesterday.
Very good.
A very contentious meeting. It was, in particular, the member comments, the attacks by our residents was amazing, undignified, just embarrassing that our community would allow that to happen.
All right, and if you want to watch that meeting, we will play that again tomorrow at 1:30. It ran 3 hours and 14 minutes, and then next week on Wednesday at 6 o'clock. Thank you, sir, for coming on. Nice to see you.
Thank you, and I have to compliment your, let's see, what's it called? Oh, a tie.
Yes.
A bow tie.
A bow tie, yes. Thank you very much. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.